What is up, guys? It is the end of the month, which means it is time for another Win-A-Box Finals. We are back again for the 10th straight month with Win-A-Box number 10. We had about 50 players come out this time. It took about 3.5 weeks to get to this point, but here is our finals. We've got Renzo at the bottom and Stevie, or South City Duelist, here at the top. Now, for those of you who do not know, Renzo actually won the largest speed duel tournament ever. It was Speed Duel Series number 1. It had over 100 participants, and he won it. He also finished second place last season on the top 10 global leaderboard, which was the height of this Battle City format. He, however, has never won a Speed Duel League Win-A-Box, despite playing in, well, most of them. He did get close once, though. And Renzo needs to stop both of these attacks. And it's just game, GG, so there you go. So we will see if Renzo can finally add a Win-A-Box championship to his Speed Duel resume. His opponent Stevie just won the last Win-A-Box, actually, Win-A-Box number 9. So he is back here again in the finals, trying to go back to back in Win-A-Boxes, which has only happened one other time. He is also looking to go undefeated, which has only happened one other time. He comes into this finals at 8-0. He actually beat Renzo in the last round of Swiss to be here at 8-0. So this should be an interesting match. Let's go ahead and get into the rock, paper, scissors here. Looks like Renzo's starting off with some lag. That's no good. But let's go and fast forward a little bit. Here, so Renzo wins the rock, paper, scissors with paper over Stevie's rock. Now Renzo is going to be rocking XYZ unions for this match, while Stevie is playing the beloved Magnet Warriors. So Stevie's going to be going first. Let's see what he ends up with. Delta, good opening, straight into the skill. Delta's going to send a card to the grave. The skill will add a card to your hand first, and then Delta pitches a card to the grave. Or pitches a Magnet Warrior to the grave, not just any card. So he pitches Delta. I guess Stevie's getting ahead of himself, where he's just revealing the Gamma, and then he needs to reveal one other Magnet in his hand. There's the Beta, and then the second part of the skill allows him to add the Valkyrion. So the skill added the Gamma and added the Valkyrion were the two effects of the skill. So Stevie's skill's spent. Stevie brings down the field spell, which allows him to use Delta to special summon back Beta. And then Stevie sets a card. We know what the other 3 cards in his hand are. We know that he has a Gamma, a Beta, and a Valkyrion. So one of the downsides to Magnets is that whenever you use that skill, they know 3 cards in your hand. Or 3 cards that you have. 2 Magnets plus the Valkyrion. Over to Renzo, though, he's got Union Hanger, which is exactly what he wants to see. So both players seeing most of what they want to see. Stevie gets to see his field spell. Renzo gets to see his field spell. Renzo's field spell is going to add the Y Dragon Head to his hand, and then once you normal summon the Y Dragon Head, it's also going to equip a Union from the deck that is appropriate. The only appropriate target is that Z Metal Tank. That would make Y 21-22 in attack and defense, and then Renzo's just going to go and banish them. He's not going to use his skill. This is just the normal summoning mechanic of XYZ. He's going to banish them to summon the YZ Tank Dragon. Usually if XYZ players do this, okay, so he's setting 1, setting 2, okay. So usually if they banish like this, it means that they have Union Scramble. So he set 2, so I'm assuming one of those is Union Scramble, because otherwise you kind of want to sit on the YZ for a little bit. Because this is going to get bounced. The field spell, these Magnet Warriors are going to bounce. One of these Magnet Warriors that Stevie's going to crash in here is going to bounce the YZ. So he wouldn't do this and banish these 2 monsters and make this purple boy if he didn't have Union Scramble to get back those 2 banished. So I'm expecting Renzo to probably Union Scramble here at some point. He could take both these attacks if he really wanted to, or take like one of them and then Union Scramble, but we'll see. So he swings here with Delta, and then Renzo's just deciding. I'm assuming he's deciding if he wants to Union Scramble. He's thinking. So there it is. There's a Union Scramble. Again, pretty much a very obvious read that he has it if he's going to immediately banish the Y that's attached with the Z to go into the purple boy, the YZ. So he's going to Union Scramble. He summons the Y, and oh yeah, because he has, I told you, he's got the Union Hanger there still. So anytime a Union is summoned, he can equip an appropriate Union from the deck. So he gets to attach the Z, and that'll save the Y there. So he's got the Y and the Z there. To banish again for another YZ, which was conveniently put back into the deck. So Union Scramble really messes with Magnet Warrior's plans here, and he's got the Union Scramble in the grave, which he can banish to return a banished monster to his hand. So Renzo's thinking he can make another YZ. He may also have a Y in his hand, which would allow him to make it 2 YZs, one with the skill and one through just manually summoning. He has an X. That would also cause a lot of thinking because he can now make a lot of different purple boys. He can make 2 purple boys here. He can make an XYZ, whatever he wants to do. He can. So we'll see. He thought, and he's thought it through, and this is what he wants to do. So he's going to banish the X, or the Y in the X. Is he gonna banish the Z? Okay, because otherwise the Z would go to the grave. He can just make XY, but that's like the worst one to make. He can only make XY there, and then he has 2Z in the grave that he can't do anything with. So he did banish all 3. That was not with the skill. And he can't do one with the skill now. But he does have XYZ. He potentially has 3. He has 2 cards in his hand, plus he can banish the Union Scramble in his grave to add one of these to his hand and then pitch. So you can potentially pop 3 cards on Stevie's field right now, unless Stevie has a Book of Moon here. He's going to target the Book, I didn't know that he had a Book of Moon, but he's going to target the face down. I almost said he's going to target the Book of Moon, but he's actually going to target the face down, which if that was a Book of Moon, would have immediately flipped the XYZ face down, and that would have been the end of that. So I don't know if it was, I mean, I guess Renzo made the read that it's meta. That it was Metaverse. These 2 players have played again at the end of round 6 in Swiss. They played, so Renzo probably knows that Stevie, I'll just spoil it, is running a lot. He's maxed out on Metaverses. He runs 3 Field Spell and 3 Metaverse in this build, so he must have read that it was most likely going to be Metaverse, because if he pops this Field Spell and it was Metaverse, then Stevie can just activate it and get another Metaverse, and then Renzo has to spend all 3 of his pops, pop in the Field Spell, pop in the Metaverse, pop in the Field Spell. But because he made the read that it was Metaverse, he pops the Metaverse and then can pop the field, and then chain Metaverse, it can only add the field spell to the hand, and then he can pop one. And now he's in a position where he can banish the Union Scramble in his grave to add one of these monsters back to his hand, ditch that monster, and pop one of these monsters. So good read by, a little risky. It could have been Book. And if he hit the Book, then that would have just been the end of the popping. And so if it was a Book, it might have been better to pop the field spell. But there we go. So he's going to banish the Union Scramble. He's going to add a Z, which will give him YZ in the grave. He's going to pitch the X. He's going to pop probably the beta here. I don't think it matters. Yep, just pop the beta. Highest attack. And now Stevie does have follow-up next turn. He's gonna have the field spell, plus we know he has a bunch of magnets to work with. But there's not going to be a next turn because Renzo has 2 of his Union Scrambles. Oh, so he opened a double Union Scramble. Which again, I think just really wins him this matchup, or really hurts this matchup, is just how many Union Scrambles will Renzo see. Kind of nullifies the effectiveness of that field spell. So Renzo had 2 Union Scrambles that he set turn 1, or on his first turn. It was technically the second turn of the duel. And that's it. That's just Union Scramble for game. Because it can special summon back 2 to 3 monsters and just win the game like that. So, but we'll see what happens in the side. You know, XYZs usually become a little bit easier in the side because you'll have lost wins to side in, is what most players have anyways. And Renzo will have to go first this time, so maybe Stevie will be a little bit more comfortable this time around. But maybe Renzo, he's opening the Union Hanger, exactly what he wants. That's just, you know, if you want to be a good XYZ Union player, open Union Hanger. That's just, it's not that hard. Normal summons the Y. The Union Hanger also will attach the Z. Pretty much an instant +2, although you could argue +1 because the Union Hanger doesn't really do anything after that. Unless you have a Union Scramble, but Renzo's set 2, so maybe he does have another Union Scramble here. But we've got Stevie, he's going to normal summon the Beta, activate the skill, reveal Gamma and Delta, add a Valkyrion. So both parts of the skill have been used here. We know that Stevie, again, he sets 2 back row, so that's good. We know what the 3 cards in his hand are, though. We know that he has a Delta, a Gamma, and a Valkyrion. But similar opening, last time he had 1 back row, 2 magnets, and the field spell. This time he has 2 back row, 1 magnet, and the field spell. Pretty sure he ended his turn, so I guess we're waiting on Renzo. He was lagging at the start, so maybe he's lagging again here. I will fast forward to see how long of a wait this is. Okay, so I guess he was thinking about cycloning. Will he cyclone the field spell here? More than likely. No, he's okay. Hits the back row. I guess it doesn't really matter. He may already just not care about the field spell, or already have another out to it. But he did hit the back row, so that it's not chainable. I guess if he's making the read that it's Metaverse, he did hit a Metaverse, it'd be a little bit more annoying. The Metaverse is a little bit more annoying because you don't know if he has it, and so like if you declare your attack and he does have it, you can't like take your attack back. So I guess here at least he knows that he has the field spell. We'll see. He has a second Union here. So will we see another YZ? Let's see what he searches. You can only search Y. Ooh, he actually searched Z. So most players have 2. Yeah, so he has the Y in the hand. Most players, the ratios of the X, Ys, and Zs are 2 X's, 2 Ys, 3 Zs. So the fact he searched for a Z means he had to have had his second Y in his hand. But regardless, that's going to get him another Z from the deck. So he has 2 Ys and 3 Zs. And a face down. Now notice here, Renzo did not banish this. He did not make a purple boy. Which probably means that this back row here is not Union Scramble. And that's how you can kind of read if they have Union Scramble or not. Because if he did have Union Scramble, he would want to banish to make a purple boy. That way his Union Scramble is live. Because now if he had Union Scramble, it'd be dead right now. He has no banish cards. But he is going to swing here, both swing. He gets one of the Ys bounced that he can just normal summon. The Z goes to the grave, doesn't matter. He can still use it with skill next turn if he wants. So yeah, it wasn't the Union Scramble, and it's actually Book of Moon that hurts Stevie a lot here. Because Stevie was going to be able to special summon the Beta from the graveyard, but he wasn't able to. He does still get the pitch there, he knows, with his Delta, but he wasn't able to special summon the Beta. And he only has 2 magnets, so if this Delta gets destroyed, it's not enough to summon Valkyrion. These back row need to put in work here this turn, unless Renzo for some reason has to use his skill, which would make Stevie not take battle damage for the turn. But that Book of Moon was really clutch. It stopped the double magnets coming down. We'll see. Renzo thinking might have another X. He can banish here though for the Y. He can just get rid of this YZ. As I say that, he gets rid of the YZ. He can pop this face down Delta here. So yeah, and we know that he has a Z in the hand. Or no, he has a Y in the hand, sorry. We know that he has a Y and a Z in the hand. So that's just going to use the effect, and then he can summon Y here. And Stevie's going to have to be able to stop both of these attacks, or it's over. And it is just over. So there you have it. Renzo wins Win-A-Box number 10. He finally gets a Win-A-Box under his belt. Ironically, both players now end the tournament at 8-1, but only one is walking away with the championship. So big congratulations to Renzo. Stevie, so close to getting the undefeated record, 9-0, the coveted 9-0. Only one other player, Art LeQuint, has managed to do that. Also almost won back-to-back. Also Art LeQuint being the only player to ever do that with Winnabox number 4 and Winnabox number 5. And then Art LeQuint won, I think he won with Burn in Winnabox 4, but he won with Magnets in Winnabox 5. So Art LeQuint won back-to-back with Magnets as his last deck, and Stevie almost does it here again with Magnets, wins his second Winnabox back-to-back with Magnets, but it was not meant to be. Renzo wins it, and he gets finally one of the last accolades that he was missing on his Speed Duel resume, a Speed Duel League Winnabox victory. And he now joins one of his best buddies, West, as the only 2 players to ever win both a Speed Duel League Series and a Speed Duel League Winnabox, which are the only 2 premier tournaments that we are offering right now. So big congratulations to Renzo. Stevie, better luck next time. And yeah, so we are going to go ahead and get into the deck breakdown now and talk a little bit about the decks that were played this event and what topped. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, here we are with the deck breakdown for Winnabox number 10. As you can see here, 48 players. And as always, we go from bottom to top on this channel. We've got SBA unions here, literally at the very bottom. I mean, this is mostly to do with alphabetical order. But only one person playing it, and they didn't top. Man, remember whenever people thought that this deck was going to be tier 1 coming into the format? How the mighty have fallen. Didn't really take off. Just, I don't know, the deck doesn't plus, and maybe that's what hurts it the most. But we've got Pac-Man Moth here. This is simply the Moth package, Parasite Paranoid plus Moth with Pac-Man pieces, like Deslacuta and Swarm of Scarabs, and one other one that I don't remember off the top of my head. We've got Masked Beast being tried out here. We've got Blue Eyes being tried out. We've got Warrior Moth, the less popular ugly cousin of Dark Moth. We've got Skull Servants here, still not topping just yet. We've got Magnet Warriors. Only 2 people played it, and only 1 person topped, but that person did almost win the event undefeated. So I guess they did tie for best record of the tournament at 8-1. We've got Magnet Moth, which is the Moth package with magnets. Everybody's just sort of tossing the Moth package into other decks to see what works. Kind of reminds me whenever Moth first came out. We've got Guardians of the Tomb still being played, still not topping. That's the Odeon skill that lets you draw cards during your opponent's turn whenever you summon trap monsters. We've got TP Warriors still getting a little bit of love, 1 top. And then we've got the usual 4 suspects, which the top 4 decks of pretty much every tournament this format. I guess Dark Moth kind of fell off a little bit and then had a resurgence towards February and March, but we see here Dark Moth 2 for 4, that's fine, especially given that Dark Moth is a little bit of an inconsistent deck at times, so 2 of 4 is good. We've seen it strike out before and have 0 tops. So 2 for 4 is solid for Dark Moth for sure. We've got XY Unions still being very popular. And seeing decent tops as well, given the number of people playing it. But the real 2 talking pieces for this deck breakdown are at the very top here. We got Icy Monarchs and Apprentice Monarchs. So Icy Monarchs struck out for the first time this format. Icy Monarchs did not top one of our events. It did see decent play, you know, the second tied for second most played deck. Nobody topped with it. That's crazy because you generally think of Icy Monarch as strong because it can be so consistent. So a little bit surprising that given its consistency, nobody was able to finish in the top 8 with it. So that this is a first for sure. Should be a little bit of a history here. Let it be known it took how many months? December, January, February, March, April, May, so end of May, so 6 months for Icy Monarch's consistency to finally bust and it not finish in the top cut. And then we've got Apprentice Monarchs here, which is kind of the surprise. I guess I shouldn't say surprise. It's more of Apprentice Monarchs has been hyped up a lot over this past month going into it. And it has finally received a ton of attention. It was always playing second fiddle to its brother Icy Monarchs, which are very similar decks. One just runs the Apprentice package, the other runs a more aggressive package, things like Gaia and like Banisher of the Radiance if you want to run that, but just bigger monsters instead of the Apprentice Magician's smaller floater monsters. But it had always seen less play than Icy Monarchs, and even, you know, XYZ Unions and Dark Moth sometimes. But now you see people finally realizing its potential It finally is in the spotlight with 13 people, almost double the amount of players of the next closest deck, and there was only 48, so you're looking at about 1 in every 4 people playing this deck at this event. But even though it finally gets the spotlight, it doesn't do so hot. It 2 of 13 is not that good. It's not terrible, but it's just standard, right? Like 13 is about, it's a little over 25% of the player. I think it might be like something like 28 or 30 percent of the players were playing Apprentice Monarchs, and only 25%, 2 of 8 topped. So I would say 3 tops would be more in line, more of a solid showing, and then 4 would be a really good showing. But 2 is just average. That's just statistically a little under average. So a bit of a shame. Apprentice Monarchs finally gets a lot of love, and a lot of it has to do with Dark Moth. People that were playing the Interconflict decks, Apprentice Monarchs has a better matchup against Dark Moth than IC Monarchs. So Dark Moth kind of becoming really popular. Not so much this tournament, only 4 people played it, but in general, becoming really popular over the last couple months, kind of pushed people away from IC Monarchs and towards Apprentice Monarchs. And I did always think that Apprentice Monarchs had a slight edge in the matchup against the IC Monarchs. But finally got its love, didn't do so hot. IC Monarchs in general struck out. Those are the things I'm taking away from this deck breakdown. But that is going to do it for Winnabox number 10. She is done. If you would like to participate in these tournaments and get in on the largest ongoing Speed Duel tournaments around the Speed Duel League, Winnabox is our next event. Winnabox number 11 is going to start in just under a week from the timing of this video. It will start Thursday, June 3rd at noon Central Standard Time, or Central Daylight Time. Sorry, I forgot Daylight Savings. CDT. 12 p.m. CDT is it's going to start June 3rd. And then I believe this video should be up on Friday, May 27th. So you got a little under a week to join the Speed Duel League Discord and sign up for that. That is Winnabox number 11. You should join the Speed Duel League Discord anyway, because it is the best place for all things speed duels. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys, and I will see you in the next video.